folks, and welcome to another day in the Milky Way. And tonight we got a great show for you all as we dive deep into the Explorer race and how that matches up with the Hidden Hand Tells All, with my co-host Lucky Stone and our guest tonight, Nina, the Mystic Truther. Thank you both for being on.
Thanks for having me on again. Pleasure.
Great. Now we're going to dig deep into this. If you haven't heard of the Explorer race that's out there, Wayne did some shows about it years ago, and now he's doing the Hidden Hand Tells All. But as I was reading through the Hidden Hand, it reminded me of something that I read in the Explorer race. Now, you know, I don't expect everybody to go out and read all that stuff, so I'm reading it for you. Elderberry, what's up? Okay, Elderberry's in the house, and Scotty Boy, Pamela Jean, Grandpa Brian. Thank you. Big shouts out to all of you. Thank you for coming on tonight and joining us as we dig deep into some hidden technology and some hidden words and the shadow government. We're going to be talking about it all tonight. So put on your hard hats or your thinking caps or whichever you'd like. There's Chloe. Chloe's in the house tonight. Chloe, I was digging around and somehow I found a book. I found a book with Chloe on it. Chloe, the superhero. Never knew this existed, but Chloe, you have a book after you. Chloe, the superhero.
It flies around the world collecting crystals, apparently.
Yes, apparently. And one of these days I'm going to do a whole 5-minute show on this about how is you know what she does. It's kid friendly, so I won't have to worry about it. But apparently she does do things, and she's some kind of superhero. So, and join us some night where we dive into Chloe, the superhero. She's got her own book. I just have to liven up the mood, you know. You can't go wrong with that. What's the synchronicities of lining that up? But anyway, yes. It's just hilariously funny. I don't know how many of you out there have heard of the Explorer race. You know, like we were talking pre-show that, you know, Wayne had it on and he'd sent out some PDFs of it, but it was only, 3 chapters or something like that. I think I got them somewhere. And I've done other shows on the Explorer race. Come to think of it, so I had some bookmarks, but that was just in the one book. We're going to dive deep into some of the other books, and I do have some marks in here, and I underlined a bunch of things. It's kind of pertaining to the future. Now, who wants to know about all that future stuff? Hands. Oh yes, all the hands in the air. I know, Nina, we can't see your hand, but Lucky, hands in, yes.
I was just talking for an hour and 10 minutes about living in the now. Why would I want to go to the future? And I want to live in the now.
The now, the past. The now is, but that's the thing. The now is so quick, you have to either live in the future or the past because the now is over.
Time. Yeah, there's no time, so it's always now.
Yeah, that's true. But you're looking forward to you're planning for the future because everything you do is towards the future. And then everything you've learned and done is in the past so you can have a better future. But the now, the present, comes and goes so fast. By the time my hand moves to the book here, it's already in the past. You get what I'm saying? So my only thing I can think of is what I'm going to be doing in the future. See, I think everybody kind of forgets that stuff. I live in the now. Well, the now is moment by moment, and it comes and goes so quickly, you'll never remember it. You have to be looking for, technically, we live towards the future. Every single moment, every footstep you take is a future plan by your brain to take that next step, right?
Yeah, well, we do in the now, so that
Well,
we'll have
how?
a better
Okay,
now in the future. No.
first thing I want to ask.
Joke.
Okay.
I told a joke and now I ruined everything.
That's a good. But here's the thing. Well, how long is the now? That's what I want to know. When you're talking about the now, is it
It's
1 minute?
always now. It's always now, even though right now actually was the future just a few minutes ago. You know what I mean? So
Yes.
it's always now. There is no future. There is no past. It's always just now.
That I agree. That I agree with. But by time my thoughts come out, I have to literally think of the future for everything I do.
Mm-hmm.
Every thought of mine.
Well, we do like gardening, which is, I guess, coming up here now. It's kind of interesting, thing there, because we plant the seeds now so that we will be able to eat in the future, which is also now, though, because we're eating. You know what I mean? Like but yeah, I mean, seeds and planting and whatever. That's kind of like one of those, concrete evidences that we have of planning for the future.
Yeah. Yeah. No. And again, you're planning for the future for those seeds. Everything is planned for the future. So I don't know. We'll have to do another show on just the now, because I think, Lucky, you brought up this quagmire of.
I did a whole hour and 10-minute show on the now. And
I know, and it was so confusing.
But you didn't pay attention, I guess, because it's about planning for the future, but not worrying about and expecting what's going to happen. You can still plan it and just let it go. That's about living in now. It's basically just making the plans and letting go of whatever happens, because you can't control it. You can only make the plans, put them into effect, and let them go. That's what living in now is.
That's essentially what we're doing when we are planting the seeds, right? We plant it. We're not going to go and dig it up to see how it's doing, because that's going to ruin it, right? We plant it and we set it and forget it, and kind of expect and hope that it's going to grow to,
Yeah, I gotta go let the dog in.
Yeah. Okay.
Bye. No, that's the whole thing. It's basically you plant the seeds, and you know that not all the seeds are going to grow. That's your problem. But you don't worry about that. You just plant the seeds you have, and you actually usually plant extra when you plant seeds.
I was going to say, you probably plant a little extra just in case, right? To kind of combat that.
And then you gotta cull. You go, okay, here are the best ones, and these are going in my garden. The rest of them, either you give to friends or you have another. Because with my wife, she tends to plant all of them, and then how far they grow is out of our control. And we kind of go. They tend to be all over the yard. There's the garden. Then there's the surplus extra gardens that are actually kind of for the woodchuck and the deer and the rabbits.
Right. Yeah, you got to plan for that too. There you go. I mean, because critters it's a real thing. It's a real. That's what makes it so hard. Like here, I can't grow anything because those squirrels will eat it. Or the bears will come and destroy it, or like that wildlife. Yeah, it's pretty much what's controlling my growing here. That and a lack of sunlight, but.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's for sure.
What is today's show about? Because it's not about the now, it's about the future, and about the alien Zohar, the traveler, or the explorer.
I was going to say the explorer is definitely living in the now, but definitely anticipating things in the future that he's going to find.
No, we are the explorers. We are the explorers. And and Zoosh is this traveler guy, but we are the explorers. We're here to explore. That's what our race does, which you can kind of see because we're investigative, we're curious, we're kind of a lot of other things too, but for the most part, we are explorers. That's how we got to where we're at right now. We wouldn't be where we are if we weren't explorers. Why are we going to space if we weren't explorers? Why would we cross the oceans? We'd just stay home and grow that garden and call it good enough.
Well,
But
most of
anyway,
us do. I mean, most of that's what regular people. That's how life is. I mean, it's just a few rich people that can have the luxury of even entertaining the thought of going into space or whatever. I mean, most of us are just here surviving day to day. We're going paycheck to paycheck. But yeah.
well, yeah, but I mean, but there's, I don't know. It takes a certain kind of person to get out and do stuff. Most people are homebodies. They don't want to do,
Yeah, that's what
you
I'm
know,
saying. They're
and
just trying to survive.
they're brought up that way because they're conditioned by their parents. I
Yeah.
noticed I know that when I was talking to my buddy, and then I was conditioned by my parents not to leave home, to stay close by, never to go anywhere. I threw that all out the window.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Like, look at Augie Nust, the guy that we've had a few shows with. He kind of did that. He was born and raised on a farm in Norway, and yeah, that farm is handed down. It's unspoken kind of rules. Like that's what you do. You take over the farm and carry on. But yeah, no, I guess something in him, that's not the life that he wanted, and he moved to America. And became a pilot and all these things that he's been doing, like, can you imagine what life he would have had if he had just stayed in Norway on the farm?
He'd just been the old farmer there, hey?
Nobody would have known who he is. Yeah, he wouldn't have done any of the work that he's done, so there's, once in a while, there's some of us, who get that urge, to travel, to experience things and not wanting to stay where they're at, but it's not very many of us though, is it?
No. Well, and that's because of the conditioning. A lot of, and that goes back to your show, living in the now. Most people just want to live in the now from day to day. Anything else stresses them out. They don't even want to read books. They just want to, go to work, come home, have a family, and go to work some more, because that's just all they know. And to think outside of the box would be thinking to the future, too much anxiety, all that stuff. We're going to get into that a little bit too.
Well, especially nowadays when the future, is looking so bleak, especially for the young people. It's a little different now than it was when we were growing up, I think, so depending on when you're here on this planet as well, and what's going on in the world and what our attitudes are and what our fears and, everything is, so yeah.
Yeah, no, I totally get that. Anyway, I found some interesting ones in here. Some things about changes. I found one about Admiral Byrd. I don't know how good this is. It was talking about interesting. The question was, that's interesting, but how have we been told that Space Command has been holding the planet together? Space Command, it's like, they refer to Admiral Byrd. And did Admiral Byrd go into, and when he flew 1,200 miles beyond the North Pole into a strange warm land? And of course it says, this experience relates to Bermuda Triangle effect. So really, he was in it says he might have went into another dimension aspect of the Earth. And that's why we can't find the hole in Antarctica that he went into. It says the surface was not particularly, it was considerably green and well forested. So you might say he flew into the future and back again, because we do know, scientists will tell us, that Antarctica didn't have ice on it at one point in time. So did he fly into an actual wormhole? I never heard that topic brought up before. Have you?
Admiral Byrd flying into the hole in Antarctica?
Yeah, he flew into the...
he flew into the North Pole. Admiral Byrd flew into the North Pole, the hole in the North Pole. Yeah. Antarctica is the South Pole. Yes, okay. That was also, Antarctica was a different place when it didn't have ice on it. When it moved to the bottom of the Earth, that's when it started getting icy. There's a lot to unpack here, but
Yeah, but then now that this was the first one. I thought that was intriguing because I've never heard it put that way. That he flew through a hole, a dimensional hole, that brought him into the past, where there would be trees and hills and grass and mammoths and things like that. It's kind of intriguing, the idea there. And then when he flew back again, he flew into the future where there is no trees, no mammoths, no, everything's ice covered. And therefore, that's why nobody can find it, is because it doesn't exist in this time and, time and age. You get what I'm saying? Which makes more sense.
Well, unfortunately, because the Earth is moving through space. So if it was a past time, it would be a different location in space. Now, on the other hand, that wormhole could be a different dimension, another Earth that might be warmer than the Earth that we live on. That let's just say that the ice caps did melt. It would be a different environment, and those people would be able to survive a different environment. Would most likely be moved more towards the north, and there would be no one living in the equator because it's too damn hot. So your idea does hold merit, but I'm thinking the wormhole being a different dimension rather than different time. But I agree. Yeah. He could have flown in a different. Let's just say there was a wormhole and put him in a different place. Doesn't matter if time or space or even different dimension. He might have flown to a wormhole, and that's why they can't find it. That makes more sense than people going up there and going, "There's nothing here. We don't know what the hell he's talking about."
Yeah. No, I never heard it brought up that way.
And it does make a good point, because the electromagnetic energy tends to get trapped up there because the sun's always shooting stuff at us. Just in the Earth's outer atmosphere kind of collects it and brings it into the north and the south. So maybe it was so much electromagnetic static it turned around like a storm, opened up a hole in space and time, and then bird flew through it and then flew back out of it, and then it closed again. Makes a lot of sense. Your theory does have a lot of merit to it, so I can see that.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's not my theory; it's this guy's theory. That's what he's saying. He's saying, that he could have went to another dimension of Earth. It says here, another dimensional aspect of Earth. The quicker dimension of Earth that you will experience in as souls. The fourth dimensional aspect is a warmer planet. The surface is particularly pockmarked with structures. It is considerably green and well forested. So you might say he flew into the future and back. So that's, I mean, I guess that's what it's saying. But
makes sense.
I mean, it out of all the theories I've ever heard, that one kind of makes sense in a way. So just brought that up. Nina, you got anything to comment on that?
Yeah, I mean, it's very interesting. I mean, I do believe that at one time, obviously, Antarctica, there was no ice there. And so, it probably was one of these hidden or lost cities or whatever it is. There's a few of them that are, names that go around, something like that. And then now it's covered up with ice. And that's why, we got all this, you can't fly over there and all of this. And because I do believe that the ice is melting, is it not? And it's starting to show things there. I think I've seen some pyramids even peeking out. And I don't know if that's 100% true or not, but because you never can tell really nowadays with all these, stuff.
Antarctica, North Pole, either way, it doesn't matter. It was a different place with a lot of stuff. And Steve, he knows a lot about this. It was definitely Antarctica. Yes. Anyway, let's move on. Earth changes. So they talk a lot about future stuff here, and I think a lot of this, we could refer to it. This book was wrote back in the 90s, so it's a good 20 years old easily. He says, question. This is Earth changes. It says, I notice a lot of changes happening on the Earth. I wonder if you could speak about that. What's happening in this the future here, time frame future. He talks about the polar ice caps, as referred to before, as beginning to recede. That's a maybe, sort of, kind of, and because now we're living in the future. Speaking of the future now, to simulate greater need that Mother Earth. This was what it really boils down to. Mother Earth has to cleanse herself. It is quite clear to her, talking about Earth, that she, consciously speaking, she has, she understands things, and that she must clean herself up. And that she's quite clear that you are not willing to do this as a race. And, I think he speaks the truth on that one. Because I think I've thought that a long time ago, is that the Earth, if something ever happens, the Earth will clean itself up. It will do whatever it needs to do to get back to normal. And we're like fleas on the dog. And if the dog is itching, it's going to jump in the lake. It's going to try to scratch itself or do whatever it's got to do. It doesn't care about the fleas.
It'll shake us off. Like we are the fleas, and Earth will just shake us off. If it's had enough. Yeah. Have you seen the videos where they do the time lapse? Like if all humans were gone right now, and you see the time lapse thing on what would happen and how fast everything would grow over and everything. It's quite interesting. Yeah, it wouldn't take long at all. Like 100 years and everything is grown over. You wouldn't even see it.
Yeah, a couple of fires, a couple of tornadoes. You won't even know towns and things existed.
Everything. The nature will just grow over everything. Yeah, it's amazing how fast.
The only reason we have cities now is because people maintain them, especially roads.
Yeah, it makes you wonder, how many times has that happened? Right.
That is so true.
It is weird because there are some villages around here. They because of their isolatedness, people moved out of them, and it's only been like 70 years or so, or even 100 years, and they're just foundations. That's it. And I've hiked them because they're conservation land now. Because again, the way they're isolated, they really couldn't get roads to them, but there are hiking trails to them. And it is amazing that there's no buildings. The buildings are gone. Everything rotted, gone. But the foundations are still there because it rock foundations, and some were concrete foundations. But again, all the wood is gone because these houses were just basically wood and nails. And it's just amazing how nature just takes over. And you would never know. And one even had a tree growing in it. And I didn't know the foundation was it. So I got to the tree and saw that the foundation was there and it filled in. But the tree grew up in the middle of it. So the tree couldn't have been more than 30 years old, but I wouldn't have seen the foundation because the tree, all its stuff falling down, kind of covered it all up. Yeah, nature takes over.
It doesn't take long.
Years, we're gone.
Yeah. All traces. Yeah.
Well, look at they're they're finding those cities in the Amazon only because they're looking at them with satellites with that LiDAR or something, and then they see the foundations and the pyramids or all that stuff's made in stone. Otherwise, the jungle has really wiped it all out. It's gone. Anyway,
maybe in like a few thousand years, any people who are left, the doctors are going to look and go, yeah, your plastic levels are kind of low. You got to get your plastic levels up because maybe people will evolve a metabolism that'll be able to utilize the plastic, because oxygen is actually poisonous to a lot of the animals, but somehow our ancestors used to utilize and use oxygen as part of our metabolism. It's fascinating. Biology is fascinating, but yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And it also says Earth beings, you're not. He also says that you're doing what you can as individuals, but the human race, as Earthlings beings, you are not ready yet prepared to clean up after yourselves. And I do believe that's so true. So true. We can't clean up after ourselves. We can haul ourselves out our dumpster garbage out to the dumpster. Then the garbage truck picks it up, and we wave bye-bye, and that's it. I mean, really? I mean, do you know where your garbage goes after that? Probably not.
Yeah, I do actually, and it's terrible what we're doing. A lot of it is being sent out on barges into the ocean. To like, and then you look at Japan; they're still disposing of nuclear waste into the ocean because they don't know what to do with it. They can't even eat their own fish around there. They have to import it. It's horrible what we're doing. We're burying barrels of poisonous things or throwing it into the ocean and, just expect, nature will take care of it, but, there's going to be consequences,
Well, yeah, consequences for everything you do. Yeah. Okay, we're going to jump to a new spot. Now, we've talked on the show more about dolphins before and how dolphins are really smart. Trina, this one's kind of for Trina because she used to say, and who was that other gal that I had on, believe that they were dolphins at one point in time or had a reincarnation of dolphins.
I think Doreen Virtue may have said something like that because I think she's even got a dolphin deck back in the day. But yeah, actually, I just read that PDF there, and they do mention that they believe that the dolphins and the whales are from wherever that place is.
Yeah.
I thought that was interesting. Yeah, they are very intelligent. So.
Yeah, and I don't know how true this is, but you guys can take it and leave it.
Yeah.
It says that dolphins are realized beings on this planet, and they're not subject to the limited thoughts and emotions we have. They have different connection. That was the question. The answer here is they appear as dolphin shape on this planet because they allows them to have a good time and be out of the public eye most of the time. Water being a good hiding place. They inherited the rules of how things are done here, while they are not restricted to doing things the way you do. They live within that system. Are their souls extruded into dolphin bodies in the way that we are souls projected into these bodies here? Are they a group of souls or individuals? And the answer is, in a larger sense, they are a group of souls, but you are also. They are fully realized and they know everything. There you go. So I thought that was kind of interesting. Another group of beings, maybe reincarnated here on Earth as dolphins. Yeah, just a little tidbit. That was a fun one.
Well, it's very interesting because a lot of people, have brought that up, and they are one of the more intelligent beings. That, along with the octopus, I think might have been the smartest animal in the ocean. And there's something with the ocean as well. I think there's a lot more going on down there than we realize, and it's kind of weird how they're not spending any time or money exploring the ocean. Like, we got all the space program, but what about down there? I think, and there might be a reason for that. They don't want us to actually see what's going on down there. And so it kind of that part of it resonates for me.
Well, Gaza Cab says, from down under, welcome, Gaza. Thank you for coming on. He says, sorry, it's illegal here to talk to dolphins or interact with them. You can get a fine or arrested. Now that is interesting. Why would that be? Makes no sense to me.
It's illegal to actually interact with marine mammals. If they approach you, you're actually not supposed to do anything. You're supposed to get away.
I was going to say, you're not supposed to go out there and deliberately go and find these things and take them from pets and stuff like that. That's illegal. Yes. I think
even getting anywhere near them is illegal. The fishing boats, the whale watching boats, they skirt the line.
I've seen some footage, and I think I sent you a video on that, Robert, about this whale that just jumped up down on this boat. To makes you wonder, are they starting to retaliate, or is that all just bogus?
I don't know. I've seen multiple
Yeah,
videos after you sent me that one. I seen multiple videos where the killer
because it's
whales were jumping on, and those
very
whales.
unusual that they have, as far as I know, they have never really attacked us before. So
Yeah.
I don't know, either we're getting too aggressive, we're too much out there in their area, like in their face, you know. And I think if I remember correctly, I think that was something to do with one of their babies dying, because I know the mother will be there for weeks mourning. And if those boats are getting in her way, you know, pissing her off, she's already upset, you know, that could be a reason as well. But it's very interesting to see that they're starting to retaliate a little bit, especially as you're reading this stuff here now,
Yeah.
you know.
That's outside Europe, and that was the orcas. And yes, they a yacht hit a baby orca.
Oh, geez. No, okay.
And
Yeah.
and the mother retaliated, and then she trained the younger dolphins, other, because the orcas are kind of dolphins, showed them how to do it, and then she stopped. And it's only yachts. It's only a certain kind of boat they're attacking, and not even the people, because the crew at one point just said "F this" and they left, and the orcas just ripped the back of that yacht to pieces. It was unsalvageable. It ended up sinking because this female orca trained other orcas how to attack these yachts.
Great. Yeah. So this goes back to what we were just saying, how intelligent these beings are, you know. And this is the 100 monkey thing, really, with the 100 dolphin. You know, we don't really want to train them to, you know, attack us. That's not going to be a good thing. Like, is this something we're going to need to worry about now, or?
Well, yeah, you don't know. You don't know. I mean, it could generate into a phenomenon now where, you know, whales attack ships instead of, you know, looking at them nicely.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Now they've had enough of us, you know. It's like, get the hell out of here. This is our territory. You got the land. This is our place, you know. Yeah.
Only takes one.
Well, looks like it now.
We're going to go to this one, and it's called the Atlantis abortion. And it talks about Atlantis. Anyway, recognize that all civilizations that have preceded you have, and we've been kind of talking about this, so it kind of fits the bill, have not really gotten as far as you have toward the fourth dimension. They have had chances, but they've always aborted the motion toward the fourth dimension at some point when they were entrusted with the information they had known at other levels, but could not handle it in their society. At the time, even Atlantis, which you like to think of as being so advanced, certainly technology and the beginning of spirituality. Well, you know, and then it goes on, you know, and we know that, you know, Atlantis was supposed to be this most advanced society, and they had technology and all that good stuff. The original idea then was that the people would be entrusted with more of the knowledge of themselves, but as they became aware of who they were more involved in the life they were living and did not wish to turn toward their original goal, which was to bring along a little bit of negativity energy into the fourth dimension. He's always talking about bringing a little bit of negativity into the fourth dimension, and I don't understand that whole thing with that. But anyway, some kind of holding the balance. But the whole point is that
the point there is that, you know, you can't just all be love and light. You have to let some negativity in there as well to balance it all out. You know what I mean? So that's the part that people don't realize, that, you know, it can't all just be love and light. Okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Absolutely. And that's true. But here they're talking about, you know, entrusting us with the information to go on, and that society can't handle it. Do you think that we are able to handle this kind of information if it was given to us? It's kind of an important question. I mean, it makes me wonder if Atlantis So we believe that they was so advanced and they had technology and all this good stuff, and they couldn't handle it. What makes us think that we're so great that we can?
I think we're not really. The majority of the people right now are not, I can't handle it. I mean, they're barely kind of starting to wake up a little bit, and so that's why I don't think we've gotten a really big disclosure on anything yet, because this is what we're talking here right now. That this will be part of disclosure eventually. It's just that, people can't wrap their minds around this, so.
Yep. Yeah, I know people can't wrap their minds about stuff, and I don't know if we could handle it, even if it was just put out there. People would be too afraid, I think. Yeah, too afraid. Let's see, what do we got here? This is for those people who believe in inner Earth. It says, what role does inner Earth civilization play in our moving on to the fourth dimension and our levels of conscious awakening? And it says, as one proceeds farther down below the Earth's surface, the founders who occupy the core are helping simply by being who they are and radiating their energy. I think that the founders are kind of controlling us, up here, because that's what founders do. Maybe that's why we can never find the people who are in control. What say you?
Absolutely, they're hiding.
Yeah, that's what I.
They don't want to be known. They want to be able to walk around and nobody knows who they are. Of course, who doesn't?
Yes.
That's
yeah.
Then you got like simple-minded politicians and whatnot to do all the bidding for you. So.
Lucky.
That's right there. Yeah. I mean, knowing stuff is hard. It's just easy just do what the news tells you, and you can eat your McDonald's and watch your TV and go and talk about that great show that was on. Oh no, they can't sing my favorite show. Oh no, that's easier. I mean, news. I mean, my biggest problem is that I don't watch so much news that the weather sometimes surprises me. Where over the winter, I didn't know snowstorms were coming until I was told, yeah, tomorrow you're going to have to park in the garage because there's going to be so much snow. And I'm like, what? Snow's coming? I had no idea. And that's one of my problems. That's the biggest problem, is that if you don't watch the news, even the weather's going to surprise you. And that's what the Black Mirror is for. Hey, tell me when there's going to be bad weather, please.
Yeah.
That's about it.
Yeah.
I'm obsessed with the weather myself. Mind you, it's part of the computer. It's right there in front of my face all the time, what temperature it is. And so I'm constantly going in there and planning things ahead, according to the weather, of course. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
That's to me.
Well, yeah, that's my problem is on my computer. I have a lot of that stuff off, which is my mistake. I should be paying more attention and not be surprised.
But you're living in the now.
You're living in the now. That's right. Yeah.
Well, I also have like weather. Like I have a wireless thing outside that transmits the temperature to a little thing, and it's all just radio signals. Probably another one. What the heck? But this is old. I've had it for, I don't know, 12, 15 years. I just changed the battery. It still works. And that I know what temperature outside is. But the snowstorms or the rain or stuff like that, sometimes I get surprised, which is why I got to pay more attention. And probably should turn that on my computer and be aware of those things. Hey, can you please tell me when it's going to be weather?
Absolutely. Speaking of paying attention, we have new merch at Nina's store. Nina, you want to tell us a little bit about this, since we're at halftime right now? So
yeah,
get into this, tell us what is going on. We got some new pictures of my face on those smiling mugs and shirts, don't we?
Yeah. I've been busy today. Putting all this stuff into the store. So I got a whole complete collection of the Milky Way Soul Tribe now in my merch store. So pretty much anything you can think of. These are the latest ones. So this is one of those enamel mugs that you can, it's really light. It's great for camping and sitting around the fire outside type of thing. And then this one is new as well. It's the travel mug that fits right into your cup holder in your truck or car or whatever. So that's new. We got a shopping bag, of course, because nowadays nobody has those plastic bags anymore. We got a mouse pad here. Now, we just realized by going in there that there's 2 sizes. So I got to go in and see if I can't add that other size as well, so that there will be 2 sizes for you to choose from, or at least see what's going on with that, and then I can get back to you about that. And then we got stickers. So we got the large sticker here, and then we got the smaller ones. I think these are 3x3, the holographic as well as the regular. We got a long sleeve shirt. We got hoodie. We got ladies and men's tank tops. We got coffee mugs, wine tumbler, t-shirt, and shorts. So there you go. That's brand new. And then we got
cool.
Yeah. So now you got a whole collection here of these Milky Way Soul Tribe, for those who are into that, as well as all my stuff as well. This is new.
Yes. And the
Totally
big
new.
fist.
Sorry?
Do not consent.
That's right. Yeah. So I got 4 logos on my own, and then I guess 5 with the Milky in there.
Cool.
So yeah, go and check it out. I've pinned the link in the chat. And of course, it's down in the description of the video as well, if you guys want to go check it out. And yeah.
Yeah, great. So check it out. Link is pinned up there. And here we go. Let's see. Okay. And we'll do a little bit of that later. But thanks. That's great. Can't wait. But we're going to dive deep right now into one of your favorite subjects, Nina. You love this subject. I know you do. The shadow government. Lucky you're probably right on board with that. It says here, in terms of the shadow government, it seems like there's so much deception right now that there will have to be a big surprise or a big bursting open of some of these secrets. Isn't that what's happening right now? It's like he was predicting all of this. Is there a probable future you see in the terms of revealing what is going on with our shadow government? And he says that this is the answer. I will say that people are ready. They are ready to allow for past mistakes in the government and other circles of power by individuals who are imperfect. And in the spirit of forgiveness, accept that these mistakes were made and there will be more revelations. Of course. To answer your question somewhat indirectly, I will say that you can allow human beings to be human and allow for the fact that they have made decisions that would not allow benefit the greatest number with the greatest unhappiness. And revelations will be made. And I'm thinking, doesn't that sound like what's going on right now? That people are allowing this to happen. Revelations are being made. People are being acceptable for it. I mean, we're not marching in the streets, are we? Or we're also not, putting up the gallows either. We're just waiting patiently. We're all sitting on the edge of our seats and saying, they're doing something, finally. Although we've not seen anybody go to prison or jail or any of those other things, but we're still happy.
Yeah, we're still waiting for those lists or next week for sure. We're going to, disclosure on everything. Yeah, sure. Okay. They just keep putting up goalposts further and further and further and further until when are we going to stop and say, hey, wait a minute?
Yeah.
Like we've been waiting 2,000 years apparently for Jesus. I mean, how long are we going to wait for this? I don't know.
Well, like you made a good point. If we're going to wait 2,000 years for that, so what's an extra couple, 5 or 10? Yeah.
Say we're not patient. I mean.
Yeah, we're definitely patient. Of course, you know, but I mean, the part is where he is talking about this stuff happening, and now it actually is 20 some plus years later. It feels like when I'm reading this, I'm reading a book of predicting the future. And before it was kind of like when I read it, it's kind of like, huh, yeah, that'll never happen. Oh, yeah, whatever. But now it's like it's all coming to fruition. Was this a prediction book? That's my next question there. But he talks about the shadow government and all its elements. What are they, and what group are they? Your favorite group? The Illuminati. He says not necessarily be all of them. Some of their practices give lip service to it. The actual Illuminati are not trying to corrupt mankind ruthlessly, he said. So, part of it is the shadow government is essentially an economic and political forces that manipulate the element of the government that is exposed. That means the part that's exposed, but what about all the stuff we don't ever see and will never see? That's all those lists that get blacked out. That's the ones we're talking about. Then it goes into it about how most of these things are involved with certain families throughout the generations and corporations. I'm thinking, this guy was right on the money with all this stuff. You know what I mean? Right on money.
Yeah, it's all goes down to the same families, and they'll intermarry. Like you'll see, like say the Clintons, for instance, is a good example. How you can tell that those two didn't get married because they're in love. Okay, it's a business decision, right? You get the two families together, and they had one kid just to kind of, because they have to, I guess. But
we don't even know if that was their kid.
Yeah, and same with the Bushes. You look, they didn't marry for love. You know what I mean? It's all to get so that it stays in the families. So the money and the power and and all the skeletons as well. The more tight knit everything is, the less things are going to come out about things. So
yes,
yeah,
absolutely. Now we're going to talk about. I'm jumped a few pages since we all know about the shadow government and their predictions, and it's all coming true. So you guys will have to go out and get this book and start reading through it because it now becomes very interesting. It's kind of like the hidden hand. The hidden hand tells all, and that was wrote 20 years ago too. Now we're going to go to Wayne's favorite subject, Lucifer. Lucifer is a negative influence versus a positive influence. And, he's always like, bring him on. I want to interview him, And it goes in here and, it talks about this here and, creator and all that stuff in that book too, which kind of made me think, how similar it was in some ways. It was talking about how, he uses the word Jehovah in here, had intention to manipulate the human race. And he says that as a negativity and control them. It says, believe it or not, it says the same thing in here. It's, so says the creator, our creator, being Yahweh. He uses Yahweh in that book. But anyway, the idea is that the creator went ahead and Lucifer came along and he says, hey, he understood but as a person, he could not accept this. He voiced his opinion. There was a negative and the positive energy that was going on, and the possibility of creating a polarized race of beings. It said that this is why his destiny was on Earth and why the Creator led him there. he didn't want to see the humans be manipulated. And again, here we are being manipulated. Lucifer at the time did not approve of the experiment as Jehovah was running it. If it was Lucifer's belief that the intent of the experiment was to involve a race that could serve with or for the creation in a hospitable and atmosphere for those immigrants from other planets, for other planets to settle here. However, Lucifer did not agree and broke off with Jehovah and went to Earth. He decided that he would give the people, then in their very rudimentary stages, an opportunity not to be beholden to Jehovah for their sustenance. Basically, again, saying that whichever creator you want to call him wanted to control us, manipulate us, and somebody stood up for us, and he got labeled the bad guy. So what do you say to that? Who's the good guy in this story? Who's the bad guy?
There you go. Well, that's the thing. I mean, you know, there's nowhere in the Bible that says that Satan killed anybody or did anything to any humans. Right?
Yes.
But there's numerous verses in there where it tells you about how jealous he is and wrathful and kill not just a couple of people, but bloodlines, you know, go out of his way to, you know what I mean? So, I mean, who's the bad guy here?
Yeah, I know.
You know, so that's the thing. So,
I get it. Lucky, what do you say?
It's kind of complicated because honestly, does Lucifer even care that he's the bad guy? Because he's just like, you know, if he doesn't care, he's not going to correct anybody. What's it really matter? And the devil is supposed to, you know, Lucifer, Satan, whoever, is supposed to run and punish those who went against God. So if Satan was against God, then why would he punish the people who are against God? It seems like if he's punishing the people who went against God, he kind of works for God. So it gets very confusing. So who's the bad guy? I don't think they're all bad guys.
They're all bad guys. That's right. That's right. They're playing roles. You know, the good guy, the bad guys. You know, the cops do it all the time. You know, like we need to have a choice. Apparently, one or the other. That's, you know, blue or red. Blue and red is everywhere. You know, you want Coke or Pepsi. You know what I mean? Like, which political party you want, blue or red? That seems to be the only sort of choices we really have that they'll give us, blue or red. Same with that whole pill thing, you know, as even the red and blue pill, you know. And then some of us now have gotten to the point where we're just taking the black pill, you know, like just so done with all of it. But yeah, interesting.
Yeah. No, I mean, it just goes to show you that there is no, you know, I mean, there's a lot of these stories, a lot of these books are, you know, on the same point, you know, and the same thoughts as kind of we are about a lot of things too, because a lot of the stuff doesn't make any sense if you go to religion. You know, they're just telling you one version of it, and you know, and they expect you to believe. And if you don't believe, gotta have faith and believe, man. This is the way it is. Says it in the book. Well, is there any other book to confirm it? Nope, just this one.
That's right. Oh, and not just that, but it was written 300 years after the fact. You know, after it all happened. Can you imagine? I mean, I can't even remember what I had for dinner last week. You know what I mean? Like, there's just no way, right? And if you're gonna go, we talked about channeling earlier. If you're gonna go with channeling, I mean, that book was completely channeled then. That's what it was.
Channeling.
Right? You know, there's a lot of things about that whole thing. It just doesn't add up. And then once you start studying other texts, like we are on my channel with the Anunnaki, there you start to see, oh, this is where they got it from. I mean, it's like hello, so.
Well, this Explorer Race book here, this was a channeled book, you know, and then it makes me wonder, was this a channeled book? You know, and how many other channeled books are out there too? You know, Aleister Crowley, didn't he write some books
Yeah, well,
all
he
channeled.
also channeled. That's the thing, and he channeled this entity named Lamb, and he drew it out. And when you look at it, it looks like a gray.
Yeah.
So that's the thing about channeling. We don't know exactly what it is that we're talking to. You know, he thought it
No.
was a demon, but when we're looking at the picture, we're looking at an ET. You know, or is it just his imagination? Right? That's the thing, like about channeling. We
Yeah.
don't
Did he
really
just
know.
tap into
So,
the ether and to the Akashic records and
right. I mean, we can talk, you know, are they tapping into universal consciousness, which we have also done study on. I would say that's probably more accurate. You know, you are opening yourself up to the flow of information, you know, and allowing it to. So yeah, that's probably more what it is. Yeah.
So this was one of those things that come up in this book, and he talks about the Council of Nine. Never heard of the Council of Nine before. He says, could you give us a little more understanding who the Council of Nine are and where they came from? And he says the answer is the Council of Nine are the offspring of the higher conscious of the now subconscious aspect of the creator. The nine are essentially offspring that are the creator birthed to allow itself to move on. So doesn't that almost sound like what we've been reading about in the Anunnaki story? Well, you got Enki and Enlil, and they had kids, and those were the offspring, and there's the bloodline.
Mm-hmm. I know Off the Hook is mentioning Magenta Pixie. I do believe she always talks to the Council of Nine or something like that. Yeah, that's who she's channeling from. Now, but I think, yeah, that's the thing. Like, we all have sort of names that we think it is, you know what I mean? But it probably just is universal consciousness that we're picking up on. But she's, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. That's the thing is, unfortunate. There are some that are obviously able to do it, but there's so many people who are faking it that there's so much bullcrap out there that you really got to be careful with these, because most of these people are channelers. You know, like you got Abraham. You know, you got Brashear or whatever his name is. They're all channeling some being. You know, like we don't know. You know what I mean? Like, so yeah. Anyways, just
who are you channeling?
Leave the rest behind, I guess. Right, with everything. Just be careful with those things. The channeling thing.
The last but not least one we got tonight is Earth's unique role in the value of ignorance. It sounds so fitting. The value of ignorance. Are not other planets sourced the same way as everything here? The answer is your existence on this planet is essentially to show the nine while control won't work, and so it is not the same elsewhere. So it's very unique that we're under control here. We don't have all that freeness. You are living the example of the creator's attempt to move beyond the limits. The limits exist here so the creator's cells, like cells, cell phone. You are here. The experience limits. How you could understand the dilemma the creator is in unless you were literally a mirror image of the creator's anxieties. Not his image, his anxieties. Thinking, how well put is that? Oof. Anyway. Yeah, so basically we're all of what the creator is in his deficiencies. At least that's what I'm thinking. And the only way to make us better, there isn't a way to make us better. We're the individuals trying to be controlled by his well, anyway, it kind of makes me think of the Anunnaki. Put it that way.
Mm-hmm.
No matter how I look at it, it still boils down to the Anunnaki and how they want to control us. And no matter how much we read that book, they never really give out control to the people. They're always in control, and we are the cattle.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, we're on a need-to-know basis. I mean, and they created us in a way that, we have 12 DNA strands, but only 2 of them are fused together. So we got, a bunch of, like most of our abilities or whatever is completely, we don't have any of it. So they didn't give us very much to go on. Like we literally know enough and able to do just the very basic stuff, take direction, do this, and then go home, and then come back the next day and do it all over again, and this is a perfect slave. That's what we are. Yep. And a lot of people, get offended or they get mad when you say that, that when people realize that, we're not really all that special. There's nothing really special about it. We're a slave race. That's what we are. Okay. And I guess that's kind of why religion and stuff like that comes in handy in the sense that it kind of gives people a false hope that, that we're something that we're not, but
times, yes.
Whatever.
Totally agree. Anyway, Lucky, what do you say to all that? I know you're thinking it. I know you're thinking.
It's people gotta do what people gotta do. I mean, I just don't know anymore. It's just so convoluted and confusing. I just don't know anymore.
Just stay in the now, then don't worry about it, right? It's just worry about the now right now.
Because you can't. It's like the world is a bucking bronco, and you don't know where the heck it's going. Mm-hmm. You can figure out, okay, we can try to get things, because honestly, there are a lot more of us than there are of them, even though they're in power, and there's not enough because we're just so numb to it that we don't stand up and and take it back. And last time we did try to take it back, we got in a lot of trouble, and people got arrested. So I mean, the big thing that they have the military. So if too many of us stand up, the military, dogs will take us down if the military does follow what they want. But military has before, and it's kind of what they're supposed to do. And unless their generals decide, no, we're with you, we're going to take the government down with you. But besides that, and even if the generals did do that, then we have a Marxist, we just have a military, not Marxism military, but basically military would take over. So the world is as it is. Yeah, well.
Again.
Yeah, you get martial law.
The military runs the government.
You get martial law. Yeah.
Martial law. That's it. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, unfortunately, like I know for us over here on Vancouver Island, we got tons of Chinese military, been training there for years. So it's not like the enemy is going to be coming in any time. The enemy has been here the whole time. And those are the guys that will be, patrolling your streets here, when it goes down, because it's, we looked at one of the shows at the beginning of the year. It looks like China, and now we can kind of see, okay, yeah, here for here. I mean, Canada is completely sold out to them. Like it's a done deal. So it's just a matter of time now.
You see it all the time.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, yeah. Anyway, I don't know if Max Vision has a show tonight, but if he does, he'll be coming on right away here. Nina, you want to tell us a little more about your goods that you got on your thing, the pin comment above everybody?
Oh, yes.
Pin comment above.
The merch store, go check it out. We got a brand new line on the Milky Way Soul Tribe merch, and pretty much anything you can think of. Clothing, drinkware, you name it. Go and get yourself a one-of-a-kind merch over there. Yeah. Link is pinned up in there.
Yes, get my smiling face on your mug. Anyway, that my smiling face on your mug.
Support your
Gotta
small
like that.
channels. Yeah, support your small channels. Get the word out.
Yes, support Nina. Buy my mug.
Yeah.
But anyway, Nina, what do you got going on tomorrow? What show
I
you
got
got?
the last minute. My brother's so horrible when it comes to family gatherings. We all know they're coming, but he can't seem to get it together until like the day before. So all of a sudden, there's a shindig now on Sunday. So I've moved the Anunnaki episode 12 until next week. And then tomorrow, though, I will be premiering a show that I did on RON Steiger's channel back in October. So I'm going to premiere that. So it'll be a chat like usual time. It just won't be a live show. That's all.
All right. Lucky, what do you and Courtney got going on for next week?
Next week, we're going live on my channel, and I forget the subject. I don't think we have a planned subject. We have a list of subjects, but right now, we're hashing it out. So we'll know by Wednesday.
Okay, good deal. Living the here and now. I really like that show. I'm trying real hard to understand it, but see, I guess that's a matter of perspective and being, and because I kept thinking, well, we live in the now, and it kind of boiled over into this show, with the now, being in the now and living in the future. And that's what this book here was all about, is he's writing this and they're asking questions and channeling in the now, we're seeing the future of what he was predicting, I guess, that would come true. Because if he wrote this stuff back in the day, and people were reading it, they'd be like, "Oh, it's a conspiracy theory guy. Here we go again. He's talking about shadow governments. There's no such thing. Oh, he's talking about the Illuminati. No such thing. Climate change." Back in '98, Al Gore was just talking about, how the ice caps were going to melt.
Were we supposed to be all, boiled and gone by now, according to Al Gore?
Yeah, the 2013, the ice caps were going to flood the world, and everybody would be, it'd be water world all over again.
Yeah.
But the polar bears are still here, but I would say things evolve. They change, they evolve, they make do, they live in the now. Animals. That's a good question. Do animals live in the now, or do they have a past or a future? Does an animal think about the future?
I don't think so. Although when you look at squirrels, they're always squirreling away nuts. So there must be some thought of, I need to, same with dogs, bearing the bone, a thought of, saving this for the future. So there's got to be a little bit, but other than that, they're always in the now. They don't worry about shit like we do. They're just living the now, but, yeah.
I guess that's kind of a thing. Like, you really brought up quite the question with this present, future, now thing. And it's going to keep me thinking about it all week long. I have to go rewatch your show. So everybody go over there and check out Esoteric Tea. It was just on a little while ago. Go rewatch that show. It was quite interesting. So anyway, maybe it'll answer somebody's questions.
The Stars of the Morning Light channel.
Yes, Stars of the Morning Light. Your channel too, all of that good stuff. Everybody go check that out. Subscribe to them. Shoot, I don't have a link here. But anyway, with all of that said, we need to get the heck out of here and go over to Max Vision remote view class. Check him out. Improve your brain. Do some remote viewing. I did last night. He was on last night, and did a little remote viewing till I fell asleep in my chair. But it gets a little late for me. But with all of that said, thank you, everyone. Go out, do something nice for somebody, do something nice for yourself, because self-gratitude to yourself you can spill your cup upon everybody else. And that makes the world a better place. With that, be the frequency you want to receive, everyone. Love you all. Peace, everybody.
Night.